Blood dripped down from the girl's hip. Seeing the blood, the mother-in-law suddenly became agitated. She cupped the blood in her hands and showed the craziest smile she'd had in years. It turned out the mother-in-law had been waiting for this moment for years. She immediately arranged a wedding for the girl and her foolish son, planning for them to consummate their marriage that very night. The foolish son entered the room with a piece of candy in his hand, offering it to the girl. He told her it was from her sister. Upon hearing this, the girl took the candy. When she opened it, she found a note inside. It outlined their plan to escape. The girl smiled and said to the foolish son, she hadn't showered in 3 days, and hoped she could take a bath before going to bed. The foolish son initially refused, but when the girl said he could watch her while she bathed, he immediately agreed with excitement. As soon as he left, the girl quietly moved to the door, ready to run, but before she could even open it, she was grabbed by the mother-in-law hiding in the corner. The mother-in-law dragged the girl back to the room, forcing her to have a child with her foolish son. As the foolish son began to take off his pants, the girl, seeing no way out, kicked him hard in the groin. Taking advantage of the opportunity, she quickly ran towards the door, but ultimately, she could not escape from the mother and son. Just when the girl felt completely hopeless, her sister arrived. She knocked out the foolish son with a stick. The two sisters ran wildly towards the exit, but when they reached the main door, they realized that the vicious mother-in-law had locked it. On the ground, there was an axe. Without hesitation, the sister picked it up and desperately hacked at the chain, finally breaking it. But when they opened the door, they were shocked to see a man standing outside. He was obviously there to capture them. The man rushed forward, seizing the axe from the sister's hand, and threatened to take her back and beat her to death. The sister knew it was almost impossible for them to escape at this point, so she used all her strength to knock the man down, and then quickly pushed her younger sister out of the door, using her body to block it. She shouted at her sister to run, and promised to come back with help once she escaped. The girl watched as her sister was beaten, just to save her. Although it was hard to leave, she knew that staying would do no good. She silently swore in her heart that she would find help and come back for her sister. The girl ran down the mountain barefoot, but along the way, her ankle was hit by a stone. Before she could react, a large net caught her tightly. It turned out that the villagers had set traps along the road to prevent the women they bought from escaping. The villager instructed his son to keep an eye on her, while he went to call the mother-in-law. After the villager left, the girl begged the young man to let her go. The young man's conscience eventually got the better of him. He decided to soften his heart and set the girl free. Just after the girl left, the villager came back with the mother-in-law. Learning that the girl had escaped, the two of them immediately went after her. The girl had already run out of the village by this point. She stood by the road, desperately trying to flag down a car, hoping to leave the mountains as soon as possible. But no one wanted to stop helping this strange-looking girl. Seeing that they were about to catch her, the girl decisively stood in the middle of the road and flagged down a car. This time, the car finally stopped, and it turned out to be the local tycoon. Seeing the girl with her bloody feet, the tycoon decided to take her to the police station, but the girl told him, her face expressionless, the person who sold her to the mountains was her biological father. Just as she finished speaking, she saw a car stop in front of them. Out of it came the man, the very father who had sold her and her sister into the mountains.